and welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Stam. It's the beginning of the new year, and that means a new session of the legislature is about to begin. It seems like the last one just ended, but we're back right into the saddle again, and we have with us today Representative Mike Holmes. And Mike, it's another year, and you're ready to, the gavel's going to go down, and it's another session of the legislature. We need to let our viewers know you represent Elmore County, a great deal of Elmore, and parts of Watauga.
For this session, I will Watauga, but in this new redistricting, I'll give up the Watauga in the next four-year quadrennium that starts next fall.
Oh, is that right?
After the general election. Right?
Okay, so then...
And that's because Elmore County's continued to grow very quickly, and 45,000 people means a district. So
you've got all you need there.
That's right.
As they can say, you get more than you can say grace over.
Exactly.
But obviously, you know, you're part of the Republican House.
Yes.
And you guys kind of set the agenda for the legislature.
That's one of the beauties of a supermajority. You get to kind of lay out the roadmap of the targets. And yes, we did that in a caucus meeting about 6 weeks ago and laid out an agenda. And frankly, Jack, it's because it's an election year. In fact, qualifying starts the day before. We gavel in on January 9th. So qualifying for the election year coming up, November of 2018. The primaries will be in June of 2018. So qualifying comes first in January till 1st February, then campaigning until the primary in June, and then general election in November for the next quadrennium. This is my fourth year in this term coming up in the 2018
in this session.
Right.
Very interesting is the fact, obviously, you say you're putting together an agenda. One of the reasons I have you on this show is that while, yes, you have that little R next to your name, but primarily since I've known you, your agenda has been the agenda of the people. That's
what I try to do. That's why I ran for this job in this station in my life and these years of my life, is because I wanted to try to make a difference. To help limit the size of government, the cost of government, and make it more responsible, particularly fiscally responsible. And that's what I tend to pay more attention to, is the fiscal aspects of what's happening down there. What's it going to cost the taxpayers? And how much government are they willing to pay for? That's a big question that I ask my constituents every day. They ask me about big programs that they like to do, and I say, okay, well, just explain to me, how much government are you willing to pay for? Because what you're talking about costs money, and it's going to have to come from somewhere, usually from you as taxes.
And over the years, obviously, we've had budget problems. It seems like
we have,
obviously, no matter what you do, there's never enough. What are the biggest items that are the highest?
Well, I served on the Ways and Means General Fund Committee, Budget Committee, and the big hurdles there since I've been there in the last 3 years have been the exploding Medicaid budget is almost tripled since I've been there.
Wow!
It's almost tripled. So, and we're talking about billions of dollars with a B. The other big one that's really exploded has been the retirement systems. The shortfall there. Their earnings over the last 9 years of this recession have not kept pace with their payouts. It's gone, that deficit's gone from $300 million the first year I was there to this year we're working in right now is almost $1 billion with a B. So it's almost tripled, over doubled. And whether that's going to get better, the returns have increased some, but part of the problem we have there, Jack, is we've got we're down now to where we almost one for one worker for one retiree.
Wow.
Because we've shrunk the size of our staff and our workers in the state government, which is a good thing. I mean, we've gotten more efficient, but that puts a burden on the retirement people that have already retired and expecting to get their retirement checks. So those are the really biggies. The ones that are critical that we're looking at is this Department of Corrections lawsuit that is in the process of being a negotiated settlement. It's a mental health issue is what the lawsuit was about. The judgment came up with a laundry list of things that had to be done, and they're still negotiating on the final part of that. But to get ahead of that, we're going to have to appropriate some money to handle that. We know it's going to cost several $1 million, probably $150 million at least, to do the mental health things that have to be done. So those are the biggies that are going to be pushing on the general fund budget. Our revenues there are somewhere in the 1.8 billion range. So you can see that we're already out of money with just the three things you and I have talked about.
And you know, when you're looking at the prison system or the Department of Corrections, probably at least a third to 40% of the people that are incarcerated, it's a mental health situation.
About 35%, somewhere in that
Right.
range, and there's some form, and some of them involve substance abuse, but they're still categorizing that mental health, and rehab and those sort of things. Treatment will help that, and is the right place to be handling that behind bars in a prison? And probably not. I think
Yeah.
it can be handled in a lot better ways, and we've seen great progress there in the last 3 or 4 years. We've taken our prison population down from 27,600 now to about 22,000 now. So it's 25% reduction in population. So it's going in the right direction.
Thank God for that.
Yes,
'Cause
that's a good
exactly
thing.
what we need.
That's a good thing.
That's right. Well, in about a week, you got to get back to sitting back there and making those votes. We hope that, I mean, obviously I don't hope, I know, knowing you, that you're going to be doing the right things for the state of Alabama.
We're going to do my best. That's what I pledge to my constituents all the time. I'm going to do the best I can with the abilities that I have and
Great.
the experience that I have. So I'm going to do the best thing for our constituents, not just in Elmore County, for the whole state.
That's great. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. And remember this session starts in about a week. If you have a representative out there, now is the time to visit with them. Not after it starts, because they become very busy, but take your concerns to them, because basically they're there to represent you. And we'll be right back right after this.